In my kitchen today, we're going to be doing steak and potatoes in the oven. We're going to use a whole onion, some parsley, some thyme, some green bell peppers, and about 4 cloves of garlic. Also, we're going to use paprika, seasoning salt, garlic powder, onion powder, some Worcester sauce, and some steak that I got from my local supermarket. I went ahead and I cleaned my steak and I cut everything in half. Just adding some Worcester sauce in the bowl with the steak, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add my dry seasonings. I'm gonna start with black pepper. My shaker, it shakes out such a small amount. It's like fine pepper, so it's like I gotta kind of shake a little bit with that. But we added the black pepper, seasoning salt. Or you can use Lowry's. We're gonna go in with some onion powder, and then we're gonna go in with some garlic powder, and I'm just gonna also add a little bit of paprika over my meat. And we're gonna put our onions, all of our diced veggies, we're gonna just dump it all in there and mix it up, because we're gonna let this sit. I'm not letting it sit overnight, so I'm just gonna let it sit out for about an hour so that the meat can stay soft and give the seasonings, the ability to penetrate into the meat. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm just mixing everything up, making sure that the seasoning is on the meat. We're gonna get everything thoroughly mixed. Again, I'm gonna leave this sitting out. I'm not even gonna give it time to get hard, because once it gets cold, it gets a little hard. So we're just gonna leave this sitting out, because I'm gonna go ahead and pour her into a pan and get her into the oven. But right now, everything is nicely mixed. I forgot to add in my bouillon cube, so I'm adding that in right now. And I'm just going to, again, just go and get it all mixed up. When you have these spices over the meat, even though the meat is raw, it still has oh my God, it smells good. It smells really, really good. So here I have my cast iron skillet. I'm just gonna throw it in there. I'm not gonna put it into a baking dish. I'm just gonna drop everything into the cast iron skillet, and I'm gonna lay the meat so that it's laying flat, because we're gonna add potatoes to this also. If you like my video, guys, give it a thumbs up. But we have all our onions, bell peppers, everything is in there. And I'm just laying each piece, just making sure that it's flat down in the pan. And I have very, very little chicken broth left. I thought I had another tub of it, but I didn't. So I'm gonna mix the water that I'm gonna add to. Well, I'm gonna mix the liquid that I'm gonna add to it. It's gonna be a little bit of chicken broth in that bowl with water. But right now I'm adding the potatoes. I'm just placing them over top. Myself, I'm gonna eat the steak and potatoes, and I'm gonna make a complete meal for my hubby, but we're gonna have the pictures of everything in the end. So that bowl that I had all of the seasoning in, where I had it marinating, I just added that little bit of chicken broth that I had with some regular water, and I'm just gonna pour that in there. Just so I can make a little gravy with it, because again, I'm gonna make a side of rice also, so I'm gonna have some gravy for that rice. But that's all of the seasoning also. That's why the water and chicken broth isn't clear. That was the seasoning in there also. Okay, so when I add the water, I usually add a little bit of browning for the steak, but I didn't, so I'm just pouring it onto the spoon. I'm using about 1.5 tablespoons of the browning, and this is just for color. That's it. This is only for color. So I'm just trying to get that browning off the spoon. You can use any browning gravy. My preference is Kitchen Bouquet, but I didn't have any in there, so I'm just using some regular Grace Browning seasoning, browning liquid. So that's my last little bit. I'm putting it in there, and that's just so it'll have a nice deep color. Okay, I'm gonna put my lid in. My oven is preheated to 350, so I'm just sticking it in the oven, and I'm gonna let this go for about 45 minutes, and then I'm gonna check it. Okay, it's been about 45-50 minutes. I added 1 tablespoon of flour, and I'm just adding some water to it, and it's coming along really nicely. So this is just to thicken the gravy. Again, I am making a side of rice. I'm gonna put both pictures up in the end. But I'm just mixing it up. It smells so good. And my potatoes and everything is done. But just so this gravy can continue to thicken, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it back in the oven for about 15 minutes. This meal shouldn't take any longer than about an hour because the steaks weren't thick or anything, and they are gonna be really tender. And as you can see, it's been in the oven for 15 minutes. The gravy is just how I want it. And that's my steak and potatoes there, guys. And I added rice and green beans for the hubby. Thanks for watching, guys.